Royal Rumble was the 14th annual Royal Rumble professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by the World Wrestling Federation. It was presented by MCI's 1-800 Collect and took place on January 21, 2001, at the New Orleans Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. The main event was the Royal Rumble match, which Steve Austin won by last eliminating Kane to win the match, making it his third Royal Rumble win, the first person to ever do so in WWF history. The match also saw Drew Carey enter the Royal Rumble. Featured matches on the undercard included a ladder match between Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit for the WWF Intercontinental Championship and a singles match between Kurt Angle and Triple H for the WWF Championship. Background: the main event at the Royal Rumble was the Royal Rumble match, a battle royal in which wrestlers entered the ring at regular timed intervals of approximately 120 seconds, attempting to eliminate each other by throwing opponents over the top rope and both of their feet touching the ground. The winner of the match received a match for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania X7. The match is scheduled annually and the scripted build-up occasionally features qualifying matches. The Rock began discussing the Royal Rumble on the January 4 episode of SmackDown, when he promised to win the Royal Rumble match for the second year in a row to earn the title match at WrestleMania. On the following week's episode of SmackDown, Vince McMahon, the WWF chairman, added Stone Cold Steve Austin to the match. The same episode also featured a standard match involving 4 wrestlers contested between The Rock, Kane, Rikishi and The Undertaker, with the winner earning the right to enter at number 30 in the Royal Rumble match. The match was won by Rikishi. A featured preliminary match at the Royal Rumble was WWF champion Kurt Angle defending against Triple H in a standard match. The build-up to the match began on the January 8 episode of Raw is War, when Angle defended the WWF Championship against Steve Austin, which ended in a no contest when Triple H interfered and ambushed Austin with a steel pipe. On the January 11 episode of SmackDown, Vince McMahon announced that Angle would defend his title at the Royal Rumble event against Triple H. Leading up to the event, both men spoke about the match, with Triple H claiming that Angle only held the championship because he allowed him to, and Angle denying this. Another featured preliminary contest at the Royal Rumble was a ladder match for the WWF Intercontinental Championship, in which the champion, Chris Benoit, defended his title against Chris Jericho. In the match, the title belt was suspended above the ring from the ceiling, and the only method to win the competitors had to climb a ladder to retrieve the belt. Their feud started at WrestleMania 2000, when Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho challenged Kurt Angle both the Intercontinental title and the WWF European Championship in a 2-fall triple threat match. During that match, both men pinned each other in 1 fall each to win the respective championship from Angle. Since that event, Benoit would hold 3 pay-per-view victories over Jericho East at SummerSlam in the best 2 out of 3 falls match. On the January 4 episode of SmackDown, Benoit defended his title against Jericho in a standard match. During the match, Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko, Benoit's partners in the group of the Radicals, interfered by attacking Jericho, causing him to win the match by disqualification but not the championship. On the January 8 episode of Raw is War, Jericho teamed with the Hardy Boys against the Radicals in a 6-man tag team match, which Jericho won by pinning Benoit. On the January 11 episode of SmackDown, Jericho demanded a title match at the Royal Rumble, and Benoit offered to give Jericho any type of match he wanted. Jericho then announced that their match would be a ladder match. Before the event began and aired live on pay-per-view, an episode of Sunday Night Heat, one of the secondary television programs for WWF, was taped live. The show featured a tag team match between Lowdown and Kane. The match ended after Charles pinned Funaki. Originally, the winning team was to send one of their members into the Royal Rumble match, but Drew Carey wound up being entered instead. Preliminary matches equals. After Sunday Night Heat, the pay-per-view event began with a tag team match for the WWF World Tag Team Championship, where the champions, Edge and Christian, defended their titles against the Dudley Boys. Throughout the match, both teams performed many offensive maneuvers, though the Dudley Boys were able to gain the upper hand when they executed a 3D on Edge. This was followed by Devon covering Edge for a successful pinfall, resulting in the Dudley Boys winning the WWF World Tag Team Championship. The following bout was WWF Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit defending his title against Chris Jericho in a ladder match, which was to serve as the blow-off to their long-standing on-and-off rivalry. The match featured both men performing a number of attacks and maneuvers on one another in an attempt to disable their opponent long enough to climb the ladder and retrieve the title belt suspended above the ring. At one point in the match, Benoit dove through the ropes headfirst at Jericho, but Jericho struck him in the face with a steel chair. Jericho also applied the walls of Jericho at the top of the ladder onto Benoit. The end of the match came when Jericho pushed over the ladder while Benoit was ascending it, causing Benoit to fall out to the outside of the ring. Jericho then climbed the ladder and retrieved the Intercontinental Championship belt, winning the championship by doing so. The third contest had WWF Women's Champion Ivory against Chyna in a standard match for the championship. Both women attempted to gain an advantage over the other, with Chyna controlling much of the match. The end of the match came when Chyna attempted a handspring back elbow on Ivory, who was in the corner of the ring. Chyna, however, fell to the canvas and injured her neck. Ivory then covered her for a successful pinfall, retaining her championship. Following this, commentator Jerry Lawler went into the ring to check on Chyna, and she was removed from the ringside area on a stretcher. Main event matches. The penultimate match was the WWF Championship match between reigning champion Kurt Angle and the number one contender Triple H. Triple H had been named the number one contender by his father-in-law Vince McMahon to set the match up. The match began as a mat-based, hold-for-hold contest, but Trish Stratus then tried to interfere on Angle's behalf, only to then get into a cat fight with Stephanie McMahon, who was in Triple H's corner. Stratus and Stephanie had been involved in their own feud due to vying for power as the WWF's dominant female. After the fracas involving the two ladies on the outside, both Triple H and Angle accidentally hit the referee Earl Hebner, causing him to roll out of the ring. Triple H grabbed the title belt and tried to hit Angle with it, only to receive a belly-to-belly suplex. Angle then tried to hit Triple H with the belt, but Triple H ducked and gave him a pedigree. As Triple H went outside to revive the referee, Stone Cold Steve Austin rushed into the arena, beating Triple H and giving him the Stone Cold Stunner as retaliation for Triple H costing Austin the title several weeks earlier on Raw. As Austin left the arena, Angle crawled over on top of Triple H to cover him for the pin, while Hebner recovered and made the count. Angle won the match and retained the WWF title, with a very angry Triple H vowing to get even with Austin for costing him the match. Closing the show was the traditional 30-man Royal Rumble match, where the winner would receive a WWF Championship match at WrestleMania X7. The first two entrants were Jeff Hardy and Bull Buchanan. They were joined by Matt Hardy, who entered at number 3. Both Hardys worked together in eliminating Buchanan, as well as Farouk, who entered at number 4. Jeff and Matt then battled each other, and it was during this time that Drew Carey arrived at number 5, being the first celebrity entrant in Rumble history. Earlier in the night, Carey was backstage looking to speak with Vince McMahon about how to put together a successful pay-per-view. After thinking Carey was trying to hit on his mistress Trish Stratus, McMahon offered Carey a spot in the Rumble as a way to promote his upcoming Improv All-Stars pay-per-view. Once Carey entered the ring, he stood aside and watched as the Hardys eliminated each other. Kane then entered at number 6. Carey tried to shake his hand as well as bribe him with cash, but Kane grabbed Carey by the throat and was about to choke-slam him when Hardcore champion Raven entered the ring at number 7, and attacked Kane with a Singapore cane. This gave Carey the opportunity to eliminate himself safely by climbing over the top rope. Kane would then dominate the match, eliminating all of the wrestlers who came between number 7 to 11. The Honky Tonk Man came in at number 12 and started singing his entrance theme Cool, Cocky, Bad, only to be greeted by a guitar shot to the head by Kane and eliminated immediately after. The Rock entered at number 13 and started brawling with Kane. The ring began to fill up in the next few minutes, and the tide turned when the Big Show made his return from months of inactivity, entering at number 23. He eliminated Test and K-Queek, then proceeded to chokeslam everyone else. When he got to The Rock, Show received a low blow and was clotheslined over the top rope by The Rock. As Crash Holly made his way to the ring at number 24, an irate Big Show dragged Rock under the bottom rope and chokeslammed him through the announcer's table. Just when the other wrestlers worked together in trying to eliminate Kane, The Undertaker made his arrival at number 25 and saved Kane, and both of them eliminated everyone in the ring except The Rock. Scotty 2 Hotty entered the ring at number 26 and was quickly beaten up and eliminated by both Kane and Undertaker. Steve Austin entered at number 27, but before he could enter the ring, he was assaulted and bloodied by Triple H, who retaliated at Austin for interfering in his match against Kurt Angle earlier. The Rock rolled back into the ring and battled with both The Undertaker and Kane. Billy Gunn, Haku and Rikishi made up the last three entrants. Austin would actually be the last wrestler to enter the ring as he had just recovered from the beating and was coming to the ring at the same time as Rikishi, the 30th entrant. Once everybody had entered the ring, Austin eliminated Haku, and Rikishi superkicked The Undertaker, eliminating him. Rikishi then attempted to do a top rope banzai drop on The Rock, but The Rock recovered quickly, giving Rikishi a low blow and causing him to fall over the top rope. The final four consisted of Kane, The Rock, Austin and Gunn. Gunn hit the Fameasser onto Austin, but Austin recovered quickly and eliminated Gunn. The Rock and Austin then battled each other after tossing Kane through the ropes. Kane came back in moments later, tried to eliminate both Rock and Austin, who were fighting near the ropes. The Rock was eliminated, while Austin held onto the ropes. After a minute or so of fighting Austin, Kane went outside the ring, grabbed a steel chair and tried to use it to hit Austin. Austin avoided the chair shot and hit Kane with a stunner. As Kane got up, Austin hit him in the head 3 times with a chair and then clotheslined him over the top rope to win the Rumble for a record 3rd time. Lasting nearly 54 minutes in a runner-up performance, Kane's 11 eliminations became the most by a single Rumble participant, beating the previous record of 10, held by Hulk Hogan at the 1989 Royal Rumble and Steve Austin at the 1997 Royal Rumble event. This record was broken by Roman Reigns 13 years later in the 2014 Royal Rumble, when he eliminated 12 other superstars. Aftermath: Kurt Angle entered a feud with The Rock again and would go to fight him at No Way Out for the WWF Championship in a singles match. Kurt Angle lost the match and the championship. Triple H continued his feud with Steve Austin at No Way Out in a 3 Stages of Hell match. Triple H defeated Austin 2-1, and ended the feud. Results = Royal Rumble entrances and eliminations = a new entrant came out approximately every 2 minutes. References. External links. Official website.